Welcome to the Lindsay and Tony podcast, where we talk about spirituality, business, and life experiences.
In this podcast, we're bringing our private conversations to you.
We believe that it's through discussion, action, and reflection that true change occurs. Hello and welcome to episode 133, How to Create a Powerful Connection with Your Past Loved Ones Over the Holidays. Before we get into this episode, I want to remind you, Tony and I have our 90-day business mastermind for spiritual entrepreneurs coming up. If you want more info, go to lindsaymarino.com and you can apply there. If you're one of my mediumship members in Mediumship Mastery Circle, you don't have to apply. You can just sign up for your spot. Okay, so now getting back into the episode. This is the perfect episode right before we have the holidays coming around the corner, and we talk all about ways that you can connect to your past loved ones and things that you should avoid when you are thinking of your past loved ones over the holidays. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited that you're here. Today's episode is all about how to create a powerful connection with your past loved ones over the holidays. And this is an important time, isn't it?
Yes, because we're coming off Thanksgiving right now. We just got back from St. Louis and we had a incredible, powerful experience in St. Louis that pretty much has to do with this podcast episode here. We actually created a podcast episode like this last year around this time. Mm-hmm. So it's like the more that you focus on this topic, I feel like the more that it starts to occur in your life.
Definitely. And I think some of the big mistakes that can come up around the holidays are we need to go through the emotions when you get sad that your past loved ones aren't there physically, like to be seen. But a lot of the times we can miss the moments that they are there. And I think that's a big thing to think about. Even though you physically might not be able to see them, they're actually around you during the holidays. They're around you all of the time, and they're available to speak with and to connect with. So we want to make sure that we don't miss those moments when it comes to the holidays and start talking in a way like they're not there.
Right. So we could start talking about what not to do right now. That's one thing, what not to do, right? Mm-hmm. Avoid them, avoid talking about them, acting like they're not here, because as most of you know, listening to this or watching this, you know that they actually are here. And there's a lot of things that we ignore and we push underneath the rug. And even in our own life, forget about past loved ones in our own life, if we push our emotions underneath the rug, it compounds, we all know this, and it creates a lot of anxiety. And it's just not good. It's more powerful to live in the truth. And our truth is we connect with past loved ones every single day. It's just as normal as us creating this podcast. It's like part of our everyday life. Mm-hmm. For a lot of you listening to this podcast episode, it's the same thing for you. For those of you who maybe you've had a couple of connections in the past before, but you're still on the fence to where you don't think that you know how to do it right away or make that connection, I'm here to tell you that you can. It's all about just setting that intention right now in this moment. So right now, you can set an intention to actually connect with whatever past loved one you want. And immediately they'll start to send you images and all these different things.
So I think that's an important thing to do, to stop right now and think about what past loved ones, maybe you haven't thought of them in a while, what past loved ones have you thought about over the holidays, over the years, or anytime? Think about those past loved ones right now. If you have to close your eyes, as long as you're not driving, and see an image of them in your head, okay? Now, when you see the image in your head of them, do you see their facial expressions change? Do you just see their eyes? Do you feel anything on your physical body when you're focusing in on them? And I think that's important to do that right now. And then see if there's a phrase or a memory that comes up through you. Now, just like Tony mentioned, you're setting that intention and you're opening up to receive. And we're holding the space right now, even if you're not watching this, if you're watching this a month from now and we did this a month ago, still it doesn't matter. Time doesn't exist. You can listen to this and you can do this with us right now. So I think that's important.
It is important. Just how Lindsay just did that with all of you, you could then go and do it with your family members that are open to it. Obviously, you don't want to go to family get-togethers or people you haven't seen in a long time and just shove information like this down their throat if they're not ready for it, because it's A lot of people aren't
Could be
ready.
a family fight.
It will be a family fight. A lot of people are ready for it, but for the people that you know, that you can sense in your family that are open to this, you can do the same thing. Connect with them during the holidays. It might sound a little crazy to some people. It's like, wait, why bring this kind of energy into the holidays? Or, because a lot of us have been programmed with, when you connect to past loved ones, it's creepy and it's scary. So that's why it's important for you just to share this with the people that are open to it. But
Right.
that's another thing you can do, is connect with family members and friends. While they're with you in the same room, connect with the past loved ones that you both know. And I found that it seems to be a lot easier to do that when you have more friends and family around from that past loved one.
Exactly. And I think it reminds me of my group readings. My audience readings at times feel different than one-on-one readings, because there's a different kind of energy. There's a collective energy of a bunch of humans sitting in seats, and then there's a spirit realm with you. So it does feel like a different feeling when you're doing group readings versus private readings. And the mediums listening to this, you'll understand what I mean by that. You know what I'm talking about. And it's just like that. When you're with a group, you have 2 or more minds put together on the same intention of connecting in. We always speak about this. That's when magic occurs. And it's pretty amazing if we can teach the children at a young age that their loved ones are with them, because the children are going to pave the way for the future for people. So it's important for us to start there. And children are very, very easy to talk with about this, because they have no filter. They're not going to, put up a block. Their hearts are very open. They're the ones that were closest to the spirit realm. When a baby comes in, they're the ones that were just in the spirit realm. So it's going to be very easy for them to connect in. Like, it's quick.
Right.
And adults can do that too. But it's usually our beliefs over time that morph into, different fears or different restrictions or limits that we put on ourselves. With kids, you know how they say, pray like child, you have childlike faith? That's exactly why. Because kids aren't programmed as for a long time like we are as adults.
Right, and that's why I find almost too with kids, they're relieved to talk about it, because a lot of these kids are going through all this not knowing what it is.
Right.
I believe I was one of them to a certain extent. It was more in my part, it was more intuition with other people's energy, a little bit of past loved ones too as I was growing up too, but kids are struggling with both. So when they go and you have this conversation, you put words to those feelings, they're relieved to talk about it, and it's easy for them to talk about it like you were saying, because they don't have all of these preconceived ideas of how freaky or crazy it is. It's like, oh, this is just natural. This is just happening.
Right. And the holidays can be a bittersweet time, because it's a reminder that our past loved ones are not physically here living like they would be with us as normal. So it's like, oh, I miss them so much. I wish they were here with me. And then you want to connect in with them and you feel their love. So it's kind of confusing, because you're feeling their love, but then you're also feeling sad.
Yeah.
So, but you're going to feel sad no matter what. If you're feeling sad at that time, you already have emotions buried inside that you're upset that they're not here. It's not just because of the holidays. It's just coming up over the holidays and surfacing. So it's actually a good thing. So open communication is huge. Speaking to them, whether it's in your mind or out loud, they hear you. Hanging out with people and having a conversation and thinking about memories. It's not just depressing memories, it's fun memories. They don't want you talking about their death every time that you talk about them either.
Right, it goes back to what you're saying with, it is confusing when you're feeling their energy, you're sad that they're not here, but then you're connecting with them as well. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot to take in. On one end, you're very sad, but you're excited because you're connected to them, and then you're feeling their love, and you're feeling all these different emotions that I can't even describe in words. And I think it's important. It goes with what we know here on Earth too, to feel your emotions fully, all of your emotions. So even those emotions, we want to get to the point to where we can take those in and process them. I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and he was asking me questions, and it came out in this way to where I was like, yeah, it's like this. When the past loved ones come through your body, it's like electricity, and they come through, and it kind of breaks down your body. And that's why you have to recover. Like if you do an event, you have to recover after it, because it's it's taxing on the body.
Yeah, it feels like you're hungover the next day.
But with that being said, the more that you do it, you build a bigger vehicle, you build a bigger outlet for that electricity to come through, so you can handle more and more and more. So I think that is the way that happens, is in the process of feeling sad that they're not here, but feeling their emotions that they are here, letting that all pour through your body, and then eventually over time you're able to process all those emotions in a more healthy way, to where it's not going to be just sad when you're connecting with your past loved ones.
That's a good way of describing it. That's the perfect way, because that's exactly how it is. It's like you do build up that endurance when you're communicating with them, and it becomes the new normal. And that's exactly what I feel is so important, is to normalize this communication with our past loved ones. Obviously, energy can't be separated by time or distance. Like, it's not going to be something that all of a sudden just dies. Energy exists. That's science. It's not even just spirituality. So our past loved ones, just because their physical body isn't here, doesn't mean their soul isn't traveling around. I mean, there's been so many experiences with near-death experiences, past loved ones, research for people that have connected with the other side. They do exist. They definitely exist.
Well, in our own experiment with our own lives, we know without a doubt they exist. If you connect with them, you know without a doubt.
Right.
That
There's evidence that they come through with, even if you didn't know information before about a person, you could still connect in and tap in. Another thing that you can do is include them in recipes. So if you know that your grandmother makes a certain macaroni dish, of course I have to say that. If she cooked a certain meal, then you could cook that meal and imagine her right beside you, because she is standing there. I know I've done tons of readings where past loved ones are with them while they're putting together the recipes.
Right, I feel like you could almost channel the past loved ones, where they come through your body and they're actually helping you cook. And you're cooking simultaneously together. It's
true. No, literally, that does happen. The other thing I know with Jerry, when he comes through, he's coming through, when you guys are hanging out, you and your friends, and you're hanging out over the holidays, and we've been walking outdoors to go to a restaurant or bar on Thanksgiving, and he's hanging out with us there.
All the time. Yeah, you just know, you feel it, like, oh, hey, what's up, buddy?
So you acknowledge them. When you feel them, even though it might feel like you're making it up and it's in your mind, you acknowledge, okay, I know that you're here. Once you acknowledge it, you're going to notice a shift in energy, and you'll notice more signs, especially if you include other people too with your friends and say, like, hey, I feel him here, if they're open to that sort of thing.
Right. It's like here on Earth, if someone's talking to you and you don't reply back, they're going to quit talking to you.
Yeah.
So in the spirit realm, they're trying to communicate with you. Once you reply back, now you're creating that two-way communication to where now it's going back and forth.
Right. And sometimes I find that my clients are like, I don't feel them anymore. And it could be 5 years later after they pass. But I'm like, it's not that they didn't go away. You're just so used to their energy being there, you're not feeling that shift. So they're still there, but you might not notice it. So what you said, like just continuing with that communication, acknowledging that, that's the ticket to go further with it.
Right, because it's also subtle in it. So it's like acknowledging all the distinctions and energies. Like each person has their own frequency. So this past level, when they come in, it's like tuning into that and knowing, oh, that's Aunt Sally. This is whoever it is, right? Or this is like a spirit guide. This is somebody who I don't know who it is, but it's a spirit guide, and that's what I feel that it is. Or this is God, the universe.
Right. There's so many different things, and over time, you can start writing these down of what you're feeling, because then you'll notice patterns. Right away, you might not know for sure, but it's important just to trust the feeling and take note of that. And the other thing too with past loved ones and holidays is to make sure that you're not staying in your house and not doing things because you feel like you can't be happy because they're not here. Like you don't have a right to be happy. And that's actually completely opposite of what they want. They want you to be smiling and laughing with family because they're okay.
So for example, like if you went and saw Christmas lights every year with one of your uncles and your uncle passed away, well, you go see the Christmas lights the next year and the next year and the next year, and you think of your uncle as you're doing it, and you do that as a family.
Right. No, sometimes for me, like I wanted to go to a restaurant, but I didn't because I just couldn't handle it emotionally at the beginning.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So taking that time, but then knowing that, you know, your uncle wants you to see the Christmas lights
Right.
and they're with you. It's not that they're not like, oh, he can't see them, so I don't want to go anymore. No, he's going with you.
Right.
So that's a perfect example. The other thing I want to talk about is forgiveness. I feel like this is a big one. Actually, my mediumship members in our group, I did a whole audio breakthrough on forgiveness. And this is really powerful. Past loved ones don't hang on to grudges. Past loved ones aren't angry with you or upset with you or want you to feel guilty about anything. So I think that's important too, is to release those feelings, those grudges that maybe you think that they have about you, because we don't carry that with us when we go.
Right, and I think it's important to talk it out too. So if you haven't talked it out with your past loved one, you could do it in your head, or you could do it by writing it out. I believe speaking it out is such a powerful way because it takes a lot of, it's one of the highest functions we're able to do is actually language. So it's a powerful way to move that energy and move past that resentment and let it go and release it. And because like going with what you're saying, our past loved ones, they want to reconnect with us again. So in order for that to happen, we have to work through this, and we have to understand that they forgive you and now you can forgive them.
Yeah. I love that. So that communication of speaking to them, even if roles reverse, if you're angry with them, maybe how they passed. I know if someone took their own life, you might be angry with them because they left you here to suffer and they did that to themselves. Or maybe, you know, you thought of a fight that you had in an argument and you're hanging on to that. But you can be angry with them. Like you can actually say like, I'm so angry that you did this, or I'm so upset. I love you, but this is how I feel. Saying that out in the open, like you said, it does move energy, and you're going to feel lighter just saying it because they do hear you. So I think that's important.
Right, and I think as you build your relationship too with your past loved one, even as you work through that and everything's fine, well, you could still, I find with the spirit realm, you still kind of like, I wouldn't say argue, but like you go back and forth with them and you joke, or you like, you guys, you just talk trash to each other, or maybe you do let them know, hey, you know, it's too late to connect right now. Go away. I'm going to sleep.
Right.
Or whatever it is. It's not always like, I love you. I miss you. It becomes, I found in my experience, I could talk from my experience, it becomes like a relationship that keeps building, that keeps continuing.
Yes. And everyone that does this actually finds that they're closer to their past loved ones more so than when they were here, if you really do continue this conversation. So you can use all of these tips outside of the holidays too, but I think this is important to talk about because it's a highly sensitive time. So share with us if you've ever done any of this that we've shared about communicating with your past loved ones, or share with us one tip that you might want to use in the next couple weeks. Okay, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Bye guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.